Once again, welcome to Zabbix conference this year. I hope you well recovered from yesterday's party. Most of us are here, so everything should be fine. Today my talk will be quite technical, so it requires a little bit of understanding of Zabbix basically to understand what I'll be talking about. Mostly I will discuss new features of Zabbix 3.2, but let's start from the very beginning. Yeah, once again, my name is Alexei Vladishev. I started my work on Zabbix a long time ago in 97 or 98 when I wrote the first code, first line of Zabbix code, and now Zabbix is actually developed by a great team of people of Zabbix company. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Entity Communications, all our good friends, Entity Communications. This is our premium partner from Japan. Quadrata Solutions, our certified partner from Italy, and our good friend, another good friend, and Uniredes Solutions from Brazil. So thank you very much for making this conference happen. Traditionally, I'd like to give a little bit of numbers about this year conference. So this year, we have 223 participants from 38 countries. Actually, this is 4 people more comparing to the last year, and 10 countries more, again, comparing to the last year. So we are growing a little bit. And this is how top 5 countries looks like. Well, Germany, 9, Lithuania, 10, Netherlands, 11. We've got 13 people from France. Oh, that's very, very nice. And who's number 1 this year? Last year it was Estonia. This year, any guesses?
Russia.
No, not Japan. Yes, it's Russia. It's Russia. So 16 people from Russia. And actually, I have to say that we've got a very vibrant and very big community of Zabbix users in Russia. I think Russia is one of top 3 countries users by the number of users of Zabbix. Okay, so what happened this year? First of all, obviously in February this year, we released Zabbix 3.0. 3.0, this is LTS release. LTS stands for long-term support, so this release will be supported till 2021. So if you prefer stability, okay, use 3.0 and you'll be fine. You don't have to upgrade your system every 6 or 6 months. But obviously, if you'd like to have the newest features we are introducing, okay, you may jump to 3.2, 3.4, and then to 4.0. I believe most of our customers are already on Zabbix 3.0. Yeah, but I know that some users are still running. There are some that's still running 1.8. 1.8 is no longer supported, but it's still in production. So I believe at some point, well, you have to think about it and migrate at least to 2x something or a better to 3.0. Upgrade path is very, very straightforward. I'm very happy with the faster development. Now we are actually delivering features and new functionality in a much, much faster way. We have a better support. We have more people in our support department and our consultancy department. So at this moment, we are 45 people spread across 3 offices. One is in Riga, where we have a headquarters, one in Tokyo, and another in New York. Last but not least, I think this is very important, yeah, because we heard some news from other companies. I will name a few, like MariaDB. Thinking about maybe introducing some closed source software, not particularly open source, but I have to say that Zabbix was born as an open source product and it's still true open source. We have absolutely no plans to make another product or to use maybe different not closed source license. So this is our promise. Zabbix is true open source software and it will always be. I think we found a very good kind of trade-off between a business interest of our company and having a free product that can be used by anyone, regardless of where you are, well, in Africa, in America, whatever, regardless how rich you are. If you cannot afford buying software, okay, that's fine, because Zabbix is absolutely free. Yeah, so that's very nice. Okay, thank you. And today I'd like to talk about 3.2. So 3.2, what is 3.2? 3.2 is the next major release. It's not LTS. It means that it will be supported till next major release plus 1 month. So I believe it will be supported for 6-7 months, and then actually you will be some kind of forced to upgrade to next major release. So it's not LTS, but it comes with very, very nice features. And I'm very, very excited about this particular release because we managed to do a lot. I guess I have to congratulate our developers for their great job on Zabbix 3.2. We did a lot of interesting things in Zabbix 3.2, and let's discuss it. First, it's event correlation. Yeah? So what is event correlation basically? Event correlation is the way how to get more value from events. Suppose we have a large-scale monitoring. There are many, many events generated, hundreds, thousands, maybe per second, and we would like to understand what are these events about. Is it we need to filter some major events? We need to there could be some duplicate events we are not interested in. So event correlation is about finding dependencies in a big set of events, finding correlations, finding dependencies and linkage between different events. And let me show you a very small example of a local event correlation. Correlation on a trigger level, how it's implemented in Zabbix 3.2. And first of all, let's have a look at this log file. Say it's services.log. In this log file, we see lines like service, say Jira started, then it stopped, other service started, other service stopped. And the question is, how many items and how many triggers we need to monitor status of services based on this log file in Zabbix 3.0. So how many items we need? Just to, I believe the correct answer is the same number of items as we have as services, to have kind of independent reporting about each service. Yeah? But in Zabbix 3.2, it requires only one trigger and one item to monitor those services independently. And let me show you how we achieve it. So this is trigger definition for this particular case. And the trigger name is service, something, something, stopped. Okay, this something, something, it's item value. This is basically the line of the log file. And then now we use a function. So we may do some post-processing of the item value. We extract values. So basically what we are doing, we extract a service name. So it will be converted to service, MySQL stopped or service, Jira stopped or service, Redis stopped, whatever. Okay? Then goes severity, there is nothing new. Then goes a problem expression. Okay, it's based on regular expression stopped. If we find this stop, okay, the problem would be generated, MySQL stopped, another problem will be generated, and so on and so forth. And then goes a new thing we introduced in Zabbix 3.2, okay, event generation recovery expression. So the trigger hysteresis made easy, right? We have a problem expression and we have expression for recovery. So two separate expressions, the second expression is optional. We may use the same expression or a recovery expression which could be very different. So recovery expression looks like regular expression from started. So started would generate a recovery event or OK event. And if we defined a trigger like this in Zabbix 3.0, this OK event would close all problems we have of this trigger, all previous problems. And it's obviously not what we need. So now this is kind of the second page of the trigger definition. And now where we've got when we may take advantage of the tags. Now for each trigger, we may have one or more or zero. Tags are optional, tags attached. So for this particular trigger, I have a few tags. Tags is basically a combination of tag name and a tag value is optional. Yeah? So All right, I know this trigger is related to data center Frankfurt. It's monitoring of the staging environment, or it could be production or testing, whatever. And then goes service name, and service name is extracted, again, using this regular expression from the item value. So the name of the service will be MySQL, or Jira, or Redis, or HTTP, Apache, whatever, all right? And then goes the magic. Here is, OK, event closes all problems. This is a default behavior, or all problems if tag values match. So if this tag value of the service matches OK and problem event, OK event will close corresponding problem event. Okay, let me explain how it works. So how it will work, service Jira stopped, there will be a problem generated. OK, very easy. MySQL stops, there will be another problem generated because we have multiple problem event generation defined for this trigger. And then service MySQL started, it means there will be a recovery event, and you see there will be a match of the service tag. MySQL will match this MySQL, so this problem will be resolved automatically, and note that service Jira stopped is still in a problem state, so we have one active problem. Then, OK, Redis stopped, another problem. Redis started, this problem is resolved based on the value of the service tag, which is Redis. And then Jira started, so now all problems are resolved. So it takes just one trigger to have this, quite complex monitoring. And the combination of event tags with the event correlation helps us to move from host-based or host group-based or application-based, as we have now in Zabbix, to service-oriented or service-centric monitoring. Okay, so we may define services, we may put the services in the tag names, and we know what problem affect what service. But obviously, it's not only limited to services. We may basically get different dimensions of our, we may have a different view on our problems in different dimensions, which could be based on service, which could be based on location, like data center, and note that we may also use a user macro for tags. So data center, it could be defined on host level or on template level or globally, which is really, really cool. It really helps us to maintain Zabbix in a very, very efficient way. Okay, we may have tags like area, performance, availability, security, so we know what problems are performance related, what problems are security related. And then environment, staging, test, production, user impact, none, or critical. Yeah, it's really important. If problem doesn't impact our users, it's not really important problem. For obviously, if we know that there are other problems, some critical problems with critical impact on services, this should be our primary focus. We have to fix those problems as soon as possible. So have a look. We have many, many problems, especially in large-scale environments. There could be, well, literally thousands of open problems at each given moment of time. And then if we look at the problem and we just filter by environment production, okay, maybe it's just a few, not 1,000, but hundreds of problems, yeah, related to production. By data center, if I'm responsible for New York data center, I don't care maybe about other data centers, so I can filter by data center, or I can filter by impact. So I'd like to see only critical problems, and I can do it. So I have thousands of problems, but only a few critical problems, and this is my primary responsibility. I need to fix those problems as soon as possible, being responsible for the services. Or I may do a filtering by a combination of tags, like New York data center and a very critical impact to our users. And it appears that, okay, I've got only one problem to be focused on right now. And obviously the problem view is really important, and that's what we introduced in the Zabbix 3.2. We introduced a new view, problem view. Before we had what? We had monitoring triggers, we had monitoring events, but there are no monitoring events anymore. It's been replaced by monitoring problems. Events, quite difficult to understand, quite difficult to decipher, because there are OK problem events, and we don't really understand this relationship, which OK event closes what problem event. But now we have, I believe, a very well-designed and user-friendly problem view. So this is how it looks like. First, so it's available on the Zabbix on monitoring problems. And as you can see, there is no monitoring events anymore. Yeah? So monitoring problems only. And it's very problem-centric view. So what do we have here? We've got a timeline. So here's a timeline, so we can see clearly when that problem happened. Just a few hours ago, or maybe it happened 1 year ago, or last month. Then we've got severity, recovery time. I'll talk about recovery time a little bit later. The status, problem. Okay, host, problem, duration of the problem, like this one, too many queries per second for HTTP balancer. It's 1 minute and 20 seconds about an acknowledgement status, acknowledged or not, and actions. As you can see, there are some actions in progress. They're being executed right now. So we do mouse over, and we can see clearly what actions are already executed and which actions are in progress right now. And then this is the power of tags. So we see those tags. Okay, this problem is related to data center New York 1, production environment, and service is HTTP balancer. Okay, so very, very cool. Another problem, service Jira stop, data center Frankfurt, environment staging, service Jira, and so on and so forth. Obviously, this is a list of all problems, but we have a filter. Yeah, and filter it has very, very rich filtering capabilities. Okay, filtering is very important, and what we've got here. First, we may display problems only or a recent problem. So what is the difference? There are 3 modes: recent problems, problems, and a history. Recent means that we display current problems plus recently resolved problems. So operation guys, no guys, they see, okay, this problem just disappeared. It will be in blinked resolved state for some time. It will stay on the screen for some time and then disappear. The time is configurable. It could be 10 minutes or maybe 1 hour, and then this would disappear. And you could see recovery time. As I said before, it's very problem-centric. Time of the problem and the time of the recovery. And this duration is the duration of the problem. Okay? So recent problems. If we switch to mode problems, only problems will be displayed in this view. Some filtering options like host groups, and you already may notice hierarchical nested host groups we use here. And we also support it. I'll talk about this a little bit later. Host applications, triggers, okay, it's all straightforward. And then tags. Okay, cool. If I'm interested in New York 1 data center, production environment, I do filtering by New York production environment, and that's what I see. Data center New York, production environment. I've got, at this moment, only one problem related to HTTP balancer. So very, very, very nice. And under the hood, we don't use the table events, which is a huge table. It's a huge table. The queries from the huge table, it takes time, but we introduced a high-performance structure. We keep current problems in a separate table for extra performance. Now all these views are super fast. They're very, very fast. And also we introduced an API call like problem.get, and using problem.get, you may get list of all current problems or all recent problems. Okay, so that's very, very nice. So the problem view is cool. I like it very much. And also notifications. We've got some enhancements for notifications. Now we may use triggers, tag names, tag values. So if I'd like to report about problems related to load balancer, what I do, tag service HTTP balancer, impact, user impact, say critical or environment production, and, if it's HTTP balancer critical problem in production, okay, in this case, some guys or group of guys will be informed or alerted. It's very, very nice. So now we may have much less notification rules because they will be based on a higher level concept, on the concept of tags. So this is how a local event correlation works. And local means it works on a trigger level. What we did as well, we introduced a global correlation. And global correlation topic is a little bit hard to explain. It will take time to explain, so I will show you just high-level concept how it works. So suppose we have existing problems, a bunch of existing problems, many problems, and then new problem comes. And this problem could be processed by a list of correlation rules. And what may happen? Okay, if it doesn't match any correlation rules, okay, there will be another problem basically. One problem and we've got another problem. If we have some matches with the older problems, we may close those older problems. Say we've got we already got some critical issues for some service, and we've got another critical issue for this service. We close older one, and we display just the most current one. In some cases, we may want to do this. Or we may decide just drop the new problem. Okay? New problem comes, and then based on the correlation rule, we decide, okay, we don't want to deal with this problem. The correlation model will close it immediately. And for global correlation, we've got configuration event correlation when we've defined correlation rules. And it's basically, it's all based on this kind of the logic, how we find correlation between this event and those three events. Again, it's based on event tags. So for example, we may have a correlation rule like correlate network port problems. We may monitor port status using different methods. SNMP traps, maybe we are getting port status from doing polling or monitoring a log file. And we've got in services port number and a host name. Okay, so instead of displaying multiple problems like this port is not available, we learn from log file. This port is not available, that's what we learn from SNMP trap. And this port is not available, we learn from something else. We may just display a single problem, this port is not available. Okay. And as a result of the correlation rule, we may, again, close a new event, so new event will be closed immediately, or we may close the existing events. Okay, I don't go deeper on the global correlation. What's important here is that I really believe that support of event tags and the correlation on trigger level and a global correlation is really a very, very solid foundation for further improvements in Zabbix. It's really very nice. It's very nice thing. We already have many ideas how other parts of Zabbix could be improved if we take advantage of event tags. So what else? Nested host groups. Finally, I believe it's one of the most anticipated feature requests. So very popular feature request, support of nested host groups. So finally we can do it. We may have nested groups. Say we'd like to sort our hosts by location or physical or VMs, or we'd like to keep some order for our templates. So we may have templates official, services, vendors HP, and so on and so forth. Unlimited number, basically unlimited number of nesting is supported. Since we support nested host groups now, we redesigned permissions a little bit. So there is nothing new. If you upgrade from a previous version to Zabbix, everything will work exactly the same way. But what you can do now, you may set up permissions for group, including the subgroups. Like Europe/star, it means this particular group and all subgroups. Like in this case, Europe read-only, read-write, sorry, well, England read, North America read, yeah? And now this view, I believe it's much easier to understand, much easier. It's just a simple list of all permissions we have for the user group. We also use nested groups in a filtering. For example, this is a dashboard filter. And if I'd like to see problems coming from Europe and European countries, European cities, I just set up a filter, Europe/star. And that's it. Okay, so that's very nice. Another feature we introduced in Zabbix 3.2 is ability to close problems manually. Finally, because I know many of us made so many hacks and dirty hacks so, to make it happen, especially when it comes to monitoring of log file, because sometimes we may discover a problem looking at the log file, but we don't know when the problem is resolved, like application crashed, and then we need to close this problem basically manually, yeah? And now when you do event acknowledgement, there is an additional checkbox which is called close problem. But not all problems can be closed. It should be allowed on a trigger level. On trigger level, you specify, okay, we allow closing of this particular problem. So that's very nice. Okay, now we may do, okay, there was a problem with version of MySQL in production, updated, restarted, should be fine now. We acknowledge this message and we close it. That's it. Problem would disappear. And this is how it would be displayed in the problem view. It's resolved. At this time, we do mouse over on the information icon, and we see that it has been resolved by user admin. Yeah, so that's very nice. Once again, trigger hysteresis. I'd like to repeat it because this is very nice feature. Once again, what is trigger hysteresis? Is ability to have different conditions for problem and recovery state. And now we really have two separate expressions, problem expression and recovery expression. Much easier to understand. We don't have to inverse logic as we had to use before using this trigger value macro. Yeah, now it's very easy to understand, and we already improved our official templates to take advantage of the second recovery expression. So it's a very powerful feature. Once again, have a look. When you set up OK event generation, it could be expression by default. Just one expression will be used, or click on recovery expression, and then you could use the recovery expression. Another very nice feature. Okay, it's we should have been implemented a long time ago, maybe 3 years ago. It's a viewable items, triggers, and graphs which were created by result of low-level discovery. Now you go to the configuration, you see list of items, the discovered items, list of, well, basically created items as a result of low-level discovery, created triggers based on low-level discovery rules, and then you may click on them and see the details. Yeah, so finally. Better actions and escalations. Basically, we made two improvements just to simplify and make configuration of actions easier to users. What we have now, we change the way how actions and maintenance works together. Now we have very simple option, which is called pause operations while in maintenance. It's very easy, okay? If it's checked, it means we do nothing while we are in maintenance, and then we continue escalation process. So it's about escalation. And next, what we did, we basically separated operations and the recovery operations. Operations, this is what we do when problem happens. We may have escalation rules, we may execute some scripts, and after 10 minutes do something else, then escalate it to manager, then escalate it to CEO, and so on. Now we have operations and recovery operations. And also we have two separate subjects and messages, default subject and messages, one for operations, one for recovery operations. And now we don't support escalations for recovery. Okay? Otherwise, it's quite easy to make some configuration mistake to enable escalation for recovery message, so the escalation will go over and over and over. Also, what else? Web scenario, import-export. Again, finally. Now it's possible to do export and import of web scenarios. We changed the logic how evaluation of trigger expression works in case of unsupported items. Say if we have condition A or B, and B is not supported, A is true, okay, it will be evaluated to true. Okay, so we basically don't care what is the value of the B part of the expression, okay? We made some improvements to cope with the fast-growing log files, because if a log file is being monitored, it grows very fast, and it may basically kill your client side, it may kill your network, and it may kill eventually a Zabbix server if it's growing, I don't know, like terabytes per hour. Yeah, so we just implemented some methods of protecting us from overloading. Support of regular expression in a count trigger function, and much more. Yeah, so the list of new functions in Zabbix 3.2 is quite lengthy. So for the detailed view, please have a look at Zabbix documentation, official documentation, Zabbix manual 3.2, section What's New in Zabbix 3.2. I'd like to mention that 3.2 is the result of, first of all, of the hard work of our developers and cooperation with our partners and our customers. And the big portion of the functionality we implemented in Zabbix 3.2 was supported by S&T Slovakia company, which is our very good partner. And this company has very nice experience of migrating large enterprise customers like telcos, financial companies from financial sectors, from expensive monitoring solutions from well-known vendors to Zabbix. Well, thank you very much to S&T Slovakia. And thank you. And okay, so you may ask how to upgrade. As always, nothing special except one thing, except that we changed the structure a little bit. We made it more compact, actually. We dropped one field in two historical tables, a history log and history text. And it means that depending on the size of your historical tables, the upgrade process may take a while. But it really depends on your hardware and how much history you have in a history log and a history text table. I would expect it may be starting from a few minutes to tens of minutes, depending on the size of the data. And the traditional question, obviously, is where is Zabbix 3.2 then? Okay, so many new features, but probably we'd like to use them already. And Zabbix 3.2, it's just yesterday, I guess it was yesterday, yeah. Yesterday, we had a first release candidate ready. It's ready for download. Just try and use it. We will not introduce any new features in the release candidate. It's basically for testing only, for finding new bugs, for finding issues. So, and I would expect that Zabbix 3.2.0 stable will be released in a couple of weeks' time, the latest, because it's already pretty stable. We just need to finish the final testing, and it should be released very, very soon. And actually, this is, I'm very pleased to say this. This is the first time we kept our promises on a release date. Actually, not exactly, because we promised Zabbix 3.2 to be released in August. It's already September, but it's only 2 weeks delay time. It's not like 6 months as we had before. Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the conference, and I'd like to thank once again our sponsors, Entity Communications, Quadrata Solutions, and UniReady Solutions. So thank you very much, and enjoy the conference. Thank you.